to the video and just be thinking about your questions, predictions, and feelings and thoughts, which is just what good readers do. But the other is to fill out the Google Doc that's attached to this. And so every Google Doc starts out with what the summary of today's reading is. And so if you'll take a peek at this, this happens to be Adam's. And so here he writes not just a little sentence, no, he writes a whole paragraph. And that's what I want everyone to do. Tell me all the important things of that reading. So here Adam says, Julia was painting with a magical brush, and Ivan said it was cool and smooth. Julia gave Ivan the magical brush and showed Ivan finger paint. I thought that was such a cool part of the reading. And then later that night, Ruby had a bad dream. Ivan woke up from the noises of Ruby. And Ruby said, where's Aunt Stella? And then she remembered, and it was still night, and Ruby was scared. So she told Ivan, can you tell me a story? And Ivan said the story. And then as soon as she was asleep, Ivan stopped, and Bob was sleeping. But Ivan couldn't sleep because he was thinking of Stella's promise and the pictures. You know, Ivan made that promise to Stella that he was going to put Ruby in a better place, and he doesn't know how he's going to do it. And then questions. Good readers are driven by their questions. And he's wondering why Ivan was thinking about the promise. And that really bothers him. And he's going to do something about it. That's my prediction. And then your biggest prediction. Good readers are driven by their predictions too. And he thinks Ivan will have a bad dream. And that makes sense because all these troubling things really bother Ivan. That is a great prediction. What were your feelings and thoughts from today's reading? Yeah, he's feeling bad for Ruby because she had a bad dream. Our hearts all go out to poor little Ruby, who's all alone and who's gone through a lot in her little life. And then when you're reading, good readers are driven by what they know and wonder. That's exactly what matters when you're reading. So he knows Ivan will never break Stella's promise. Cool. And he's wondering why Ivan's still thinking about the pictures. Ivan is such an artist, so Ivan is always thinking about that. So Yahoo, 4th grade, an important part of Read Aloud is to do just what Adam did on his Google Docs. So hats off to you, Adam. Thanks. Here we are in the one and only Ivan. We are on reading number 18, and it starts on page 168 if you have a book and are following along. The first chapter is called How. And I think that fits in really well with what Adam was just relaying on his sheet. How is Ivan going to make that promise happen? It takes a long time, but finally Ruby returns to sleep. Ivan, Bob whispers, yawning, what you said about the zoo, how are you going to do it? Suddenly I feel as if I could sleep for 1,000 days. I don't know, I admit. You'll think of something, Bob says confidently, his voice trailing off as his eyes close. What if I don't? I ask, but Bob's already asleep. His little red feet dance, and I know he's running in his dreams. See, my dogs do that too. Their little feet are racing in their dreams while they're sleeping. That's cool. The next chapter is called Remembering. Bob and Ruby sleep on. I don't sleep. I think about the promise I made to Stella and the pictures I made for Ruby, and I remember it all. The next chapter is called What They Did. We were clinging to our mother, my sister and I, when the humans killed her. So I have to reread that because that just took me by shock. We were clinging to our mother, my sister, and I when the humans killed her. So who do you think we is? We were clinging to our mother, my sister, and I. Oh, it's my sister and I. We're clinging to my mother. And that's what you do when you read. You're always thinking, does this make sense? Do I need to reread? So it was Tag and Ivan. They were clinging to their mom when humans killed her. They shot my father next. Oh my gosh. And then they chopped off their hands, their feet, and their heads. So no wonder Ivan has these feelings about humans, you know? Something else to buy is the next chapter. There is a cluttered, musty store near my cage. They sell an ashtray there. It's made from the hand of a gorilla. So So here on 172, another Ivan. When morning comes and the parking lot glimmers with dew, I see the billboard on the highway. And there I am, the one and only Ivan, bathed in the pink light of dawn. I look so angry with my furrowed brow and clenched fists. I look the way my father did the day the men came. I am, I suppose, a peaceful sort. Mostly I watch the world go by and I think about naps and bananas and yogurt raisins. But inside me, hidden, is another Ivan. He could tear a grown man's limbs off his body. In the flicker of time it takes a snake's tongue to taste the air, he could taste revenge. He is the Ivan on the billboard. I stare at the one and only Ivan, at the faded picture of Stella, and I remember George and Mac on their ladders adding the picture of Ruby to bring new visitors to the Exit Big Top Mall and Video Arcade. I remember the story Ruby told, the one where the villagers came to her rescue. I hear Stella's kind voice, wise voice. Humans can surprise you sometimes. I look at my fingers, coated in red paint, the color of blood, and I know how to keep my promise. The next chapter is called Days. During the days, I wait. During the nights, I paint. I worry when Mac takes Ruby into the ring. He carries the claw stick with him all the time now. He doesn't use it. He doesn't have to. Ruby isn't fighting back anymore. She does whatever Mac asks. Next chapter is called Nights. I close my eyes, I dip my fingers into the paint, and when I'm done with one piece of paper, I set it aside to dry. It's so small, just one sheet, and I'm going to need so many. I move on to the next and the next and the next. It's a giant puzzle, and I'm making the pieces one by one. By morning, my floor is covered with paintings. I hide the paintings under my pool of dirty water before Mac can see them. I don't want them to end up in the gift store selling for $20 a piece, $25 with the frame. These paintings are for Ruby, every one of them. So that is the end of this reading. So head to your Google Doc and write down all the cool things that